Hello and welcome to Sovereign RPG. I am Sovereign and today we are back on the test server trying out a ship that many people commented on in my last video, the Dominix. So disclaimer on the test server, as per usual, none of these ships are fully finished yet or balanced, so there will be some changes before they are released, most likely. But I am a humble servant and I will show what my followers ask me to. So with this particular fit I worked on, this is called spider tanking. It's where you have a couple of ships and they cross over reps on each other. So you can free up some low slots and you don't have to fit a tank in there. But because this is Eve Echoes, we do have the group armor slots, so we don't need as many high slots to fit in for reppers. You can just fit the mid slots up with the group armor reppers. So before we start, let's go into the actual ship bonuses that we have here. The ship itself does not have a roll bonus. It only has skill bonuses. And the only skill bonuses it has is large drone operation bonus per level. Now the good thing about the Dominix is that the plus 40% per level is drone DPS in general. So that's small drones, medium drones, large drones, and sentries. All of them are affected by this drone DPS buff, which is very, very nice. Now we have the plus 5% in drone optimal range per level and plus 5% in drone tracking speed per level. This really does help the large drones track those smaller frigates, as you'll see in the time lapse later on. So the battleship command bonus per level gives you plus 10 kilometers drone control range per level up to 50 kilometers. This is very, very nice. Now let's go into the fit itself. In the high slots, we have the large C-type remote armor repairers. Activation time of 15 seconds and the armor repair of 685 per. That'll be just under a 1300 rep every 15 seconds. If you can stagger these, they can be quite effective. I only put 2 in there mainly because of the cap issues. Now the cap on here does say 5 minutes, but we'll go into why that is not the case. So in the high slots, I put Pith C-type large rapid missile launchers. Pretty much every ship that has no bonuses to weapons, I'll use the large rapids. They're just that good. You can fit the medium rapids in here to really hurt the frigates when they come to you. But we're going to be sitting way out there with this fit. So in the mid slots, we have the Fullerene large group armor repairers. Again, these are not on the live server and these are not balanced. They're just in there to have a little bit of fun with. We have 3 of those sitting in there. That really does help with the tanking. So it's 782 every 24 seconds. If you stagger these at every quarter cycle, you'll be getting a significant amount of armor reps per 8 or so seconds. Now in the drones, we have the Caldari Navy Wasps. Again, not available on the live servers, and these are not balanced, but they are pretty damn good so far. They don't add much more DPS than your standard Mark 9s. But they are still an upgrade. The good thing about the Dominix is you have 5 slots. Now you could change these out for sentries, and I will be doing a video on the solo Dominix with a sentry run, and you'll be amazed at the range that these ships can get if you're within the control range. The weird thing about drones in Eve Echoes is that you just have to be in your drone control range of the target. So your sentries, if they have a 150 kilometer range, for example, you can sit them out at 150 kilometers and tank the ships at 120 kilometers and your sentries can still hit them. It's a very weird concept. I don't understand why they did that. So as always, I don't like to go all full DPS. Even if I'm doing a range fit, I like to imagine that I will be walked in on by players. So I always will fit to have a tank. So we have 2 C-type adaptive armor hardeners and 1 C-type reactive armor hardener. This is to raise those resistances up a little bit, and you'll see when I get to the final wave of the sweet poison that I'm running that we do start taking quite a bit of damage when they do get in range with the battleships. It takes a little bit of time for you to kill those. We have the Gistum C-type large cap battery sitting in here. When this is active, both of these reppers are cap stable. One of these reppers are cap stable alone. The entire ship is cap stable alone if you only have one of these active. And 5 minutes is still a long time and more than enough time for you to kill anyone who comes up on you, even if you don't have that cap battery active at the time. So in the bottom, we have the Neswan drone amplifiers. We didn't use the God mode mods that they have at the moment, the officer stuff. I wanted to get a more realistic feel of how the Dominix runs DPS wise. And we have 2 of those. Now in the mid slots, we have a drone control range augmenter, adding 20 kilometers to the already 85 kilometer range. This doesn't need to be done. I just like to have that little bit of extra range. When I'm warping it at 100, they could be that little bit further and it saves you a little bit of time. And we have 2 drone speed augmenter 4s, adding obviously activation time adjustment minus 15% adds to your DPS. Now in the engineering slots, we have 3 capacitor control circuit 4s. This allows you to be pretty much stable with only 1 repper active and stable with a capacitor battery and 2 reppers active in the high slots. So let's have a look at the cold stats that we have over here. We have 1,386.59 DPS, 1,193 of that being your drones and 193 being the 2 missiles. That's a pretty good amount of DPS considering there's no roll bonus for drone damage, which is why this ship is very good to be able to work in groups. It'll be a hell of a lot cheaper than your faction battleships. I believe it's only a third to be able to build a normal standard battleship compared to the faction battleships. So you can get 3 of these out for the same minerals, 3 of your friends running in a group together. This will be very, very nice in PvP and PvE. Now in the defense, they obviously sit at 25k shield hit points with 104k in defense HP without any of the adaptives or reactives active. We have 30k armor hit points with the EM being at 50, the thermal being at 35, the kinetic being at 36, and explosive being at 10. Now, as I said before, the capacitor is 5 minutes 15 seconds. It has a 13,000 capacitor capacity, which is very nice. 442 second recharge time. And all you need to do is activate that battery to have all of this active. If you don't have those top reppers active and you're tanking just on the group armor repairers, you're perfectly fine. It is perfectly stable. We have a very low scan resolution, which takes a long time to lock up those frigates and destroyers. But you apply with that drone tracking bonus from the Dominix to frigates and destroyers that are right in your face, not a problem. 7 max lock targets as with every battleship. Now, navigation is a bit slow on the warp preparation time. It's about 2.5 seconds slower than the Mercurial and a hell of a lot slower than the Nesta, but it has a warp speed of 3 AU. So your jumps will take a little bit longer, but you can swap out the low slots for some inertias and get that down to 2 seconds when you're traveling, which wouldn't be so bad. In low sec and high sec, when your warp speed is 50% in low sec and 100% faster in high sec, it's not so bad. So let's jump outside and have a look at the hot stats. So we'll activate the adaptives and the reactive, and we'll set these drone damage amplifiers on. Let's have a look at the stats now. So we're sitting at 2,065 offensive DPS, and with 2 of you, that will be 4,000 effective DPS, obviously taking away around about 400 DPS for the missiles that are in there. So you're looking at roughly 3,600, 3,700 DPS just from your drones on the 2 ships. Now, if we go to the defense, we're sitting at 132k. With the 30k still armor hit points, but we have 73, 65, 66, and 51% resistance. Armor does need some love when it comes to the resistances, or they need to add more buffer, so more armor hit points for those that are armor tanking, so it really starts to balance out the shield and armor tanking. Currently, there is no balance. The shield resistances are just better. Everything else stays the same on the ship itself. There's no issues there. Now what you want to do with the group armor repairers is you want to activate 1, and when that gets to about a quarter cycle, maybe even a third of a cycle, so you can get it split up, so around about there you activate your next one. Now when that one is at about a third of a cycle, which is around about the spanner, you want to actually click the next one. Now this will stagger your armor reps equally, so you're not wasting too much fuel when you're doing it, and only activate them for as much of the armor as you need. All in all, I'm really liking the way the Dominix is running at the moment. It is definitely a great ship for you if you are running multiple accounts, and it's a very cheap alternative to the faction battleships, and it can run very well, as you'll see in the time lapse at the end of the video. Make sure to check that out. Remember to like and sub if you haven't already. This is your one-stop shop to Eve Echoes. Fly safe and avoid local chat scams.